The impact of breathlessness. This session focuses on the impact of breathlessness and how breathlessness affects not only the mechanics of breathing, but also how you think, feel, and what you can do. Breathlessness is an unpleasant sensation associated with breathing difficulties, but it is important to remember that in itself it is not harmful. The Cambridge model of breathlessness. This model demonstrates three components of breathlessness, or three cogs in the wheel, being the breathing, thinking, and functioning circles of breathlessness. These are three factors which are affected by breathlessness, and in turn will affect your breathlessness. A change in any one of these circles will result in changes in the others. The breathing circle. When breathlessness occurs, we see a change in the pattern and rhythm of breathing to include an increased respiratory rate, increased work of breathing, and use of the accessory muscles. This results in a change from a calm, efficient breathing pattern to an inefficient breathing pattern, and dynamic hyperinflation may also occur. The 3 R's of relaxed breathing. This picture demonstrates the 3 R's of a calm, relaxed breathing pattern. When you are breathing in a calm way, you will notice a rise. Your tummy rises as you breathe in. Relax. Your tummy relaxes as you breathe the air out. And rest. There's a natural pause before the next breath comes along. You don't rush into it, but you wait for it to come. This picture demonstrates the change which occurs from a calm, efficient pattern of breathing to a fast, irregular, erratic, and inefficient breathing pattern as a result of uncontrolled breathlessness. Dynamic hyperinflation may occur when ineffective exhalation of stale air results in the lungs remaining full and there being little room to breathe in a new volume of air. This occurs from fast, erratic breathing, where the emphasis is much more on the in-breath than on breathing out. The thinking circle. The physical sensation of breathlessness focuses the mind's attention on that feeling and increases negative thoughts and worries about your condition. These negative thoughts may be around deterioration, past experience, or maybe hospital attendances. Negative thoughts are known to play a role in the development of low mood and depression, and evidence tells us that there is higher incidence of low mood and depression in patients with a long-term health condition. This can make managing your physical health much more difficult due to reduced motivation and a feeling of what's the point. It is important to pay attention to an unusually low mood and seek additional psychological support to reduce the impact of any low mood or depression. In addition to the role of our thoughts, breathlessness can and does cause feelings of panic, anxiety, and distress by triggering of the fight, flight, or freeze response. The functioning circle, or doing. The unpleasant and fearful sensation of breathlessness leads to reduced activity levels, a tendency to self-isolate, and to avoid challenging situations. This results in increased reliance on others, a reduced quality of life, and over time, a loss of muscle strength and deconditioning, which in turn feeds the cycle of breathlessness, as weakened muscles are inefficient users of oxygen.
Humans, like all species, have self-protective mechanisms to help us survive. Our fight, flight or freeze survival response, the FFF for short, is designed to mobilize our brain and body to fight an enemy, run from an avalanche, or freeze to hide from a predator. Our brain sometimes misinterprets safe situations as dangerous and can set off false alarms. When the amygdala, our brain's watchdog, senses and barks danger, our body enters survival mode quicker than our rational mind can react, leaving it trying to figure out why we feel in mortal danger. When the FFF alarm is sounded, we start to breathe more quickly and shallow, causing hyperventilation, and our heart starts beating very fast. These changes can cause strong chest pain, which many people interpret as symptoms of a heart attack, when in fact it's just a result of the FFF activation, which can be relieved through breathing exercises. As a way of getting you ready for action, blood is diverted towards the major muscle groups. Blood flows away from our digestive system, causing the bladder to relax, and we might feel the need to pee. The mouth goes dry, nausea can occur, and we get the butterflies feeling in our stomach. Blood also rushes from extremities, leaving us with cold hands, but often sweaty palms as the action-ready body starts sweating to avoid overheating. Legs and hands can start trembling and feel weak, while tension starts building in big muscles like the thighs, neck, and shoulders. In our head, FFF alarms cause our brain to focus on negative memories, probably so it can scan them to avoid danger and negative outcomes. We get tunnel vision as our pupils dilate to increase our focus and long vision, but as a result we lose our peripheral vision. FFF activation also reduces our ability to recognize differences in facial expressions. Too much oxygen and too little CO2 can result in dizziness or lightheadedness, which many people interpret as signs that they might faint. But because fainting is caused by a drastic drop in blood pressure, and because the FFF increases both our heart rate and blood pressure, it's nearly impossible to faint when this happens. Over time, depression, anxiety, and high levels of stress all harm the brain's ability to slow or cancel false FFF activations, causing them to happen more often. Knowing the symptoms of false activations makes it easier to recognize and reduce their effects. At Tanky Boxing, you can learn both bottom-up and top-down techniques to reduce false FFF activation and bring your body back to balance.
Relaxed and recovery breathing techniques. Techniques to help you to gain control of your breathing. Breathe around a rectangle. To practice this technique, look at a rectangle or visualize one in your mind and breathe in and out as if you are traveling around that rectangle, breathing in up the short side, pausing at the corner, and then breathing out all along the long side. This technique encourages you to put more emphasis on the breathing out than breathing in. Practice this technique 2 or 3 cycles at a time until it feels natural for you. Pursed lips breathing, smelling the rose and flickering the flame on the candle. This technique helps to let the old air out, creating more room to breathe. Breathing out through narrowed lips as if about to whistle or blow a kiss helps to hold the airways open, assisting the air leaving the lungs and creating more room for the next breath. The 3 F's of recovery breathing. Techniques to use when really breathless or panicky. Fan therapy. Using a handheld fan has been proven to recover breathlessness more effectively than short burst oxygen, and it is a great tool to have with you when out and about to feel more confident in managing any breathless episodes. Forward leaning. As discussed in previous sessions, adopting a relaxed forward leaning position eases the burden of breathlessness on the accessory muscles. In addition, if you think about your body posture when carrying out activities, as this will impact on your level of breathlessness. And finally, focus on breathing out. Long, relaxed breaths out. And remember, if in doubt, breathe out.
We know that breathlessness is affected by what you think and feel as much as by the signals that come from your heart, lungs, and other parts of your body. The fan is a very useful way of reducing the severity of breathlessness. We think it works in a number of ways. Firstly, it gives you the feeling that instead of having to wait helplessly for another attack of breathlessness, you can take steps to reduce the sensation. Secondly, by knowing that you have something you can carry around with you to use at any time, anywhere, there's a subtle change in the signals that your brain sends, letting you know, reminding you that you now have some power over breathlessness. This seems to reduce the background level of anxiety, of which you may not even be aware, but which can affect thoughts and behaviours quite profoundly. It is most important to use the fan in the right way. Watch what I do. I'm holding the fan about 12 inches from my face, cooling the lower part of my face and nose. We think that by cooling the air that goes in through your nose, the receptors in your nose send a signal to your brain, which reduces the sensation of breathlessness. The fan may be more helpful, or at least as helpful, as oxygen. Sometimes we will advise you to use it rather than using oxygen to help reduce the severity of your breathlessness.
You may find the following resources useful in seeking out additional information around breathlessness, anxiety, and managing of fatigue and the impact of breathlessness. Or you may speak to any members of the team for further help and support. Thank you for listening.